Welcome, friends. Fundamentally, as I relax, notice what I am, there's joy, there's freedom, there's light. And then day to day happens, and it, in the middle of experiences, I'll find myself back in a place where I'm not noticing the joy, the light, the pure being. And I know it hasn't left. I've added a belief. So inquiry is my process of dropping that unnecessary belief so I can return to the fundamental nature of what we are: joy, freedom, love. Well, I noticed this preference for vast views when I'm hiking, the big ocean, big mountains, deep rivers, just really encompassing views. Those certainly seem very beautiful. But what about when I'm walking down the street, there's a pile of trash? Could that seem as beautiful? Now, I don't have to, right? That what I am is always there, whether or not I'm tuning into it. But it's available. It's available to notice that everything is fundamentally this same beauty. So I have been investigating where are the thoughts that are preventing me from noticing the pile of trash or the discarded old dry wood. What is it that's making me not see the beauty equally in those views? Well, I started listening to an interview where they were talking about how much thought goes into everything that we see, that we don't really just see. We really add a whole lot of interpretation. And suddenly I saw exactly what I'm doing when there's beauty. When there's beauty, I'm adding this sense of expansiveness and harmony. I have ideas, beliefs about expansiveness, beliefs about harmony, beliefs about what is natural. And as I look, when everything would fall together into those beliefs, into those past experiences, I would allow myself the expansive sense of awe and beauty. Interesting. I'm the one who allowed the expansive sense of awe and beauty. It actually wasn't coming from outside. It was me interpreting the outside into these pre-formats that I had decided were beautiful. Wow, I was creating beauty by allowing these requirements to be there. A vast sunset or sunrise. All of those things were simply processed thoughts. Okay, so how could I see without all these thoughts? You know, I can't really see that the mountain is far away or that the ocean goes on and on and on. That's all thought interpretation, adding distance and adding vastness. It's just this rectangle I see. That's it, or circle, whatever it is, oval that I'm seeing with colors in it. That's it. Just a bunch of colors and shapes. And certain shapes I'll decide are far away, and other shapes I decide are close by. But really, that takes a lot of thought. So I just started seeing shapes, and I played with shapes that I interpret to be right close by. Imagine, what if that were way out in the distance, like that cloud far away? What if it could be something gigantic way out in the distance that creates this shape right here? So I started playing with this, just shapes, imagining them close or far, didn't really matter. And then the spaciousness, the wonder, the mystery was clearly never out there. It was clearly always here. Mystery, wonder, awe are what I am, what we are. So then I started testing. Could I look at this pile of trash? Could I look at this discarded garments? Could I look? And there they were, the shapes, the no definite close or far, the variety of color, and awe and wonder show up. Awe and wonder are just the nature of looking without any concept, without any evaluation, without any projection. Awe and wonder is what we are. So the inquiry then is, what am I interpreting to create this experience? And what am I adding from my own being to allow the joy of this experience? Is there some natural expansiveness I'm allowing myself to taste now? Why? Why now? Why not some other time? What would it take for any time to allow me to taste this expansiveness? So any field, any view, any smell, any sound has that utter sane simplicity, range of notes. So without the concept, what is here? What is here? There's colors and shapes in view. There's no particular distance. There's sound and silence, tones, notes, loud and soft. There's all kinds of scents. We have a little bit fewer words for scents: sweet, pungent, floral, powdery, tangy. But the experience of beauty is simply when I add the permission to feel expansive, open, appreciative. And out of the nothing, in every one of these cases, the sounds out of the nothing that's sprinkled in notes and tones. Into the view got sprinkled in shapes and colors. Into the smells got sprinkled in. What is it? What is it? And without stepping into past or future, there's a nothingness here that turns out to have an inherent curiosity, an inherent wonder. And when I relax into this nothing, I notice here is the spaciousness. here is the wonder. Here is the awe. How could it be all these shapes, all these colors? There's a limitlessness before I add any thought, any interpretation. And this boundless awe, this is the sense of beauty. Boundless awe at any particular scent, in any particular view, any particular sound. And the body may move toward, it may move away. But the boundless awe is what I am. I don't need any permission. I don't need the view to fall into any guidelines. I don't need to interpret some particular aspects to be there, to be able to experience the boundless awe. It's what I am. So with this inquiry, I find I'm able to notice the beauty everywhere. Just taking out the thought, taking out the past and future and interpretations and the boundaries I put on what is most pleasant, what is most harmonious. Just step back. I don't have to add distance in order to make spaciousness. I don't have to add grandeur to give myself permission to feel my own spaciousness. I can feel the spaciousness looking at a pile of laundry. The spaciousness, the awe is what I am. So beauty is everywhere.